Welcome to Timberline Bass Podcast, your place for Wisconsin bass fishing and everything outdoors.
Hey, folks, we got a really special episode of Timberline today. We're going to be sitting down and talking to Sarah Kozlowski. She's a Wisconsin based outdoor photographer, content creator, and tourism storyteller with a passion for fishing and showcasing the communities built around it. Having spent nearly her entire life in the Hayward area, Sarah has grown up fishing the lakes and rivers of northern Wisconsin, developing a special love for smallmouth bass and multi species angling across the Midwest. Through her work with tourism boards, fishing brands, Chamber of Commerce, and outdoor organizations, Sarah's travels throughout Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan, creating social media that highlights not only the fisheries themselves, but also the small towns, resorts, restaurants, and experiences that make each of these destinations unique. From Mille Lacs to Escanaba to the Porcupine Mountains and the Wisconsin Governor's Fishing Opener, her goal is to help people discover what makes Midwest fishing culture so special. So without further ado, here is Sarah.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I've really been looking forward to doing this episode. I've kind of had a theme going the last couple of weeks, definitely trying to highlight Hayward and some of the people and companies around there. So you're definitely a perfect fit.
Awesome. Glad to be here. Yeah, our town's pretty great.
I mean, first of all, do you kind of want to explain a little bit, I guess, everything you got your hands in? I know there's a lot.
Yeah. So I do a ton. I do content creation and influencing. I guess you could loop those together. There's 3 tiers to my business. So let's start with that. So the content creation and influencing, I work with different brands and everything. Anywhere from like Northland Tackle, Lakewood Products, Otter, Onyx Fish, like all of those. And then so like influencing and content creation with that. And then also, like you were saying, tourism boards I'll work with just to highlight fisheries and travel. So like Ocano, Porcupine Mountains. And so like basically what I do there is I'll go to the area, visit, we'll fish, we do everything DIY unless, we set something up with the tourism bureau to do like a guided trip. And then promote like all of the downtime stuff to do. So like where to eat, where to stay, things to do, that fun stuff. So like the whole area as like a tourism destination. And then my major part of my company is social media management. So I kind of got my background in that with managing some outdoor brands, social medias, and then like promotional staffing. So I just narrowed that down to small business social media. So everything in like my local area, I'm doing social media for a ton of small businesses like restaurants, stores, and other things. And then I also do photography and some videography as well. So I kind of have my hands in a lot, but it's super fun. I wish that I had started sooner doing it full time. So this was my second year starting being full time. Yeah, it's been super fun, learning a lot as a business owner, and yeah, it's great.
Well, for people who may not know you, who is Sarah outside of Instagram and the photography and the promotional stuff?
I'm a huge nerd. I'm sitting here staring. I'm sitting here staring at all the Pokemon cards that I bought last night. I'm a nerd. I loved it as a kid, and so I'm kind of glad that it's cool again. But I don't know. I love being at home. I'm a homebody for sure. I do love traveling. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I like being at home. My husband and I really love birds, and so we've got like a big hummingbird group that we love to feed and make our garden pretty for. So we've got like all out here on my porch. There's tons of flowers and stuff, but yeah, I just really love birds being home.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I totally respect that. When the Pokemon game came out for mobile, the card game,
Oh yeah.
my wife and I and the kids, it's a constant thing over here,
Yep.
opening packs and.
Mm-hmm. I think I
So
have the app one. That one's fun too.
yep, yeah, that's the one we play.
hmm
Growing up in Hayward, how did fishing become a part of your life?
So it's kind of always a part of my life. So a lot of my childhood memories revolve around being like on the water. We grew up on a lake not far from here. So it's Callahan and Mud. And so we had property, family dock, and we would go fishing off the dock for bluegills and bass. And so, there's muskies in there. Just kind of was our family thing to do. And we lived we lived in the woods. Um, hunting and fishing was what my parents did, and then they just kind of brought us into that as well. So, yeah, like we grew up around a lot of people and had friends who owned resorts, you know, fishing tackle stores in town, and yeah, just kind of was like a way of life around here for a lot of people and revolves around our tourism, and it's just been a part of my life since I was a kid.
I was gonna say when you're up in Hayward, kind of everything seems to revolve around fishing. The
Yeah.
decor of the restaurants, the all
Mm-hmm.
the it's just such a cool vibe you don't get
It
everywhere.
is. Yes. It hasn't
Um,
changed much since we've been kids too, like which is great for like the nostalgia factor. I don't know. I just love it up here.
yeah, it is a very nostalgic town. I'm not gonna lie,
hmm
it's nice. What did your early fishing years look like?
Earlier, when I was a kid, it was a lot of pan fishing, bluegills, crappies, mostly bluegills, off of our dock, and then bass. We had a boat briefly when I was a kid. My mom was like kind of a worrywart, and my dad was like the guy who pushed things a little bit. So he'd go a little fast in the boat, and my mom was ultimately like, "We can't have this. Like, we can't bring kids out." And it was a great boat. We bought it from like an old uncle of mine, and my dogs are barking at squirrels in the front yard. Anyway, we sold that boat because my mom was nervous. But we did so much ice fishing when we were kids, and that was probably like my favorite thing of growing up. Was all the ice fishing we did, and it was like a huge family thing. My family's big anyway, and so we'd go to like fishing contests. The Nelson Lake one was always a fun one. Big prize money, good prizes. And then Gull Lake, which is closer towards like Minong and Trigo. But so much fun. Like, so ice fishing has definitely transferred into my adult life too. But those are like my best earliest memories is big bluegills and bass off the dock and ice fishing with my parents.
That's awesome. We'll kind of segue a little bit here. Kind of why does northern Wisconsin just feel so different when it comes to fishing? Um, I don't know if you have any opinions on that, but
I think I have some ideas, and I think it's like, I mean, there's so much diversity in the lakes up here. So, I mean, you have just so many lakes at your fingertips. Like you have, I could name probably like 15 of them that are within 15 minutes of my house. But you can go like whatever you want to target, there's something around. And so whether that's like where we were talking about, like there's rivers with trout. Hang on a second, my dog is barking. Daisy, no. There's rivers for trout, like the Namakagon. It's a class 1. So you can go trout fishing. There's some stocked lakes around. There's like world-class bass lakes for smallies, big largemouth, just about anywhere. Obviously muskies for our area. Great panfish. I mean, there's catfish in the Chippewa flowage apparently. So like if you really wanted to go target those, you could. But there's just so much diversity, and like if you want like more of a wide open lake or a clear one, or like some with structures and like more rocks and more islands or stuff like the Chippewa flowage, I mean, it's anywhere around here, and it's not very far away. And I think that's probably the most unique thing.
yeah, you definitely are in kind of a mecca of fishing for Wisconsin. We get kind of screwed here in central Wisconsin. I got to go 45 minutes in any direction to
Mm-hmm.
hit anything worth your
Oh yeah.
time. Where, I love when we stay up there. If you get sick of a lake for one day, you can
Mm-hmm.
drive 5 minutes any direction and hit
Oh
something that's phenomenal if you take the time to look at it.
yep, for sure. Well, a couple of them take
Um,
a little while to break down, but I mean, once you figure it out, it's such smooth sailing, and it's so fun.
Well, I got a kick out of it. So this weekend we stayed on Owen Lake, and that is
Yeah.
just crystal
Mm-hmm.
clear.
Huge.
Yeah, yes. And then on our way back on Monday, we stopped and hit Diamond Up. And granted, it's still clear, but
Okay.
panic and just, it's still so close together, but so
Yes.
different. The structure, the composition,
Mm-hmm.
it's just insane to me.
Yes. Did you find any fish in Diamond?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was gonna say we tried that a couple falls ago and we didn't catch a single thing. It's like that sounds really familiar. And like we had our live scope and we're like, we can't even mark anything. So like, is there really fish in here? But I'm
we,
glad that you had
we
some luck.
we had a heck of a time. I mean, they were definitely starting to pull up on beds and stuff, but
Sure.
it was so windy you couldn't sit
Uh-huh.
and visually fish them.
Right.
But we were kind of busting out the 360 and the live scope
Uh-huh.
and picking them off of beds
All
with
the
that, and it
tools.
was a blast.
Yes.
Um, well, what do visitors misunderstand? With northern Wisconsin and bass fishing, it's honestly not the first thing people think of when they think of bass fishing in
Right.
Wisconsin.
Say the question one more time because I think I have the answer for this. What do they overlook?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like visitors up there have a misunderstanding, or like you said, overlook.
Sure.
What do you think the biggest thing is?
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, everybody comes here for their own reason. I would say, like, a lot of people come up here because families have come up here for years and they just needed, like, some place to do something else or, like, get away from the usual. But I don't think that, like, and not to root it back to fishing, but I mean, I truly do think that, like, really everything around here kind of revolves around fishing and, like, it really supports the community here. And so, I mean, everything from like the guides, they've got like their lake set in stone, but then they're like, let's go to lunch somewhere here. And like, they're just spreading like little seeds all over the place. Like if it's bait shops or places to go eat. And like, I don't know, like everything around here supports, and like it starts there, I feel like, but everything kind of supports everything around here based off of that, if that makes sense. Like if you can't go fishing, you go into town, or like if you can't be on the lake, you go into town and you go shopping and do you see all the other stuff. And so I guess I like everything benefits from it is like a weird little thing that I would think, and maybe that's the wrong answer, but
No,
that's
no,
what
I
I
think you're
feel like.
absolutely right.
I don't know. I kind of think that that has a little bit to play into it, but I mean, yeah, and like great conversations start from it. Like the history of fishing brought so many people here to come to the area and fish, and yeah, I don't know. I guess that's my answer.
Well, and I definitely notice a lot of the charm of that area. The people up there are so genuine. You
Yeah.
get to some of these other tourist towns, and you can tell. I mean, they feel like a money grab, and not that there's
Yep.
anything wrong with that. I'm not, but
No, and like I get what they have to do, what they have to do for like different communities, but I also see that too. I mean, just even when I go to play tourist somewhere else, like, and I don't, and maybe it's just because I'm an outsider and I don't know the community, but like genuinely knowing everybody in town here, people are just excited. Like, I mean, we may gripe a little bit that it's busier and like you can't take any left turns off of the major highways for minutes on end, but like it does. I mean, everything helps the economy here during the busy seasons, and like everyone's just really welcoming. Everybody wants you to have a good time here. They want you to come back, and like could talk to you for probably hours.
yes, you cannot stop at a bar in that town without having a
No.
conversation with somebody, and that's amazing. I mean, that's part of the
Mhm.
Wisconsin charm and part of the Hayward charm.
Oh yeah.
Um, All right, I got another one here for you. Okay, smallmouth versus largemouth. What key? Clearly you definitely have a preference for largemouth. What is it that draws you to them over the largemouth?
Or so small. I like smallies more than like I like largemouth. I think I would say for sure. Largemouth I find myself targeting more just because we've got friends who are like, you got to try this bite, or like they fish some leagues and they give us some hot tips and like, well, we got to go try it out for ourselves. But bass are fun, and like I guess the smally part of it is I just love how much they fight. Like their fight and everything to do with that is like the funnest thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. I like to do a topwater bass fishing for smallmouth, and just like knowing the class of bass that are up here. It's so fun. And like, I don't know, just I know that we've got great fisheries up here, and like they have great forage. And so it's always just really exciting to come back the next year and be like, well, how much bigger did like the 21-inch smallmouth that I caught? How big is that this year? And largemouth are just so I feel like I say they'll eat anything until you actually really try to go after them, and they won't eat anything. So that's a fun challenge too. But I mean, I just feel like there's so many largemouth bass that I prefer the smallies. Yeah,
I'm with you there. So much of the
they're
rest of
both
this,
fun.
yeah. Unfortunately, you can get on quality largemouth just about anywhere in the
Really
state.
anywhere. Hmm.
But the class of smallmouth you guys have up there, I mean, they're a different animal. I would love to see genetic testing done to see what the difference is. You know, just like Sturgeon Bay has its
Yes.
own breed of smallmouth, so does
Oh
Hayward.
yeah. I would love to go after those one day. I think that would be so fun, but we're just always so busy in the spring.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely one of them things you got to do once because
Hmm.
it's insane.
I agree.
Um, are there any patterns or seasonal moments surrounding bass fishing you think people should experience at least once?
Just for the fun part of it, to like catch fish. I love like the spring pre-spawn when you're starting to find and pick away like where they're at, kind of getting to their bedding areas. And I love flipping. Flipping is probably my favorite method for largemouth. And so like flipping into a tree or like some shallow brush and logs or like sunken stumps, and like just kind of finding like the right water temps and like putting all those puzzle pieces together. I think that's such a fun bite. And like it's over and done so fast. Like I feel like their spawn happened literally like within a week this year. And it was just like, because we went out on the flowage yesterday and I was like, oh, like maybe we can find bass in shallow, and they were already back out a little deep again. So I don't know, but that whole little first bit of bite, like right when opener is so much fun. And for smallies, it's like that end of, no, I wouldn't say end. It's like the middle of June to probably like the middle of July is like a really great topwater smallmouth bite up here on the clearer lakes. And it's just so much fun. And so like once that water gets to be too hot, it's just they aren't into it anymore. I don't feel like, at least in my experience, but it's so fun. Like I just I wish everyone could experience that bite, because it is like I've said this like 3 times on podcasts, but it's the feeling when you're like cutting Christmas wrapping paper and the scissors glide.
Yep.
That's the feeling that I feel when like smallmouth bass hit a top water lure and then it's on. Like it's the best feeling.
Well, and it's so
But
cool now too with live scope watching them
yeah,
torpedo out 15 foot of water and you just wait for it.
I haven't. We're too worried. Like we're like, oh, we're like in a purist mentality. We have a live scope. We've never used it for the smallies yet. And I'm like, I just don't want to. Like it's so fun if there's like a mystery of like, are they on this bar or not? But I feel like one day we're gonna get to it, because we've been doing that for panfish for maybe like a couple seasons. We're like, oh boy, like whole screen is lit up. And so I almost wonder like how cool that would be to see the smallies too.
Well, 90% of the time it's more frustrating than it is anything.
Yes.
But on them special days, red cedar when they're out on that big rock
Oh
flat out
yeah.
there where it's like 30 foot around it,
Yep.
you can just watch them come flying right
So
off the
fun.
bottom and count it down, and it is the coolest thing in the world.
I've heard such good things about the red cedar bass bite too, and I've never like been there for that time. So maybe we'll have to go down. It's only like 45 minutes away, so we'll have to try that bite this year.
Oh yeah, I would highly recommend.
I have to.
Um,
Wreck.
what do you feel like makes Hayward as a whole stand out compared to some of the other touristy fishing destination options in Wisconsin?
Um, and I'll probably be biased and say the people again. I mean, if you could ask literally anybody in town, if you just came here out of nowhere and you were like, what should I do? Like, what should I do here? People would tell you like the best things, and there's really nothing that's terrible up here, honestly. But I guess we're like, it's a big small town, and so we've got really everything you need to be up here for however long you stay. And I don't know, like just great people and great amenities and really options for just about anything. It's like an all inclusive one-stop shop.
Well, and you can kind of scratch whatever itch you want. You know,
Right.
you can very easily find the rustic setting,
Yep.
or if rustic isn't your thing, you can get a little ritzy up there too.
I mean, there's like you could go four-wheeling or ATVing or like UTVing, what everybody does now. Wintertime. Oh, there's an oriole outside my window. Cool. So anyway, yeah, there's like there's the family fun parks. There's like so many mini golf courses. There's like the lumberjack shows if you want to do like the really touristy stuff, and then like great food, UTVing, boating. There's live music just about everywhere. Like, and there's just so many fun things to do. So it's literally whatever, choose your own adventure you want to do.
All right, this one's a little bit more off key, but when you're done fishing up there, shore lunch or do you go to a restaurant?
That's a tough choice, but and my husband will say this too, and he is the self-proclaimed, and I'll agree. That's a really loud bird. Do you hear him?
Yeah.
He's like right outside my window. I love a good fish fry. Like nothing really beats fresh fish, especially when you make it yourself. And it's definitely the shore lunch, but at home. On the stove. There's a couple fish fries I like around here, but it's just like, why do I want to go out and wait in line for people to make me food when I can do it for myself at home? And it's even better.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I would say shore lunch.
Awesome. Yep. So how did you get into content creation and tourism storytelling?
Yeah. So it kind of happened just like, I mean, I think I had Instagram whenever it came out. I think I was in college. So it was like my junior year of college. I downloaded Instagram. That's when it was like picture sharing of anything. So the coffee cups at the coffee store and stuff like that, or selfies and whatever. But so I moved home in 2015. I met my husband. My husband and I dated for like 2 years before we got married in 2018. But so got into the outdoors again after, not really doing much of it in college. My mom unexpectedly passed away in 2017. And so kind of like the route that I've seen with people losing somebody important to them is you can turn it into something positive, and you can, get on with your life, grieve, blah, blah, blah. Or you can go like the total opposite and spiral, go into a really dark place. Like, I feel really bad for those people who are like alcohol, drugs, blah, blah, blah. And so my mom was like a very optimistic and like love the outdoors person. And like, she wouldn't want me to dwell on this. Like, obviously it hurt. But yeah, so it was like, how do I like channel this energy? Blah, 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 blah. And so I'm like, well, my mom loved the outdoors. So like, let's just be outdoors, So it's just like, it was just like sharing everything I was doing. And it was no like motive really behind it. I started like understanding that like the pro staff thing was like occurring or whatever, but it never like really stuck into me until maybe like 2020. And so, I'd start tagging brands and the things I do. And like, I grew a little more and a little more and a little more. And so like, just piece by piece, it kind of just was like brands reaching out or like me reaching out to things that I wanted. And, you get some no's, you get some yeses, but yeah, just kind of like authentically sharing like what was going on, what I was up to fishing. And like, I'm the first person to admit that I'm not an expert with literally anything that I do. So I think like that whole thing, it's like, you're not like the most perfect person online. I'm not a perfect person in person, but I'm a nice person. So yeah, just like sharing authentically, like what I'm learning or like maybe struggled with, sometimes you don't tag out for deer hunting, and like sometimes you go out and you don't catch a single fish, but like you learn, you move on, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that kind of really resonated with a lot of people who follow me still. Is just that I'm very like straightforward and honest about what's good and what's bad. And, I'll just share all of it. And, there's products that I like, there's products I don't like. Thankfully, I work with some really good companies, and they've like, gotten behind the whole kind of vibe that I'm throwing off online. And it's just totally like organic. And here we are, however many years later, Instagram has been out. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's easiest to be you, and you want to be you don't want to be like the person that you meet in person and they're not the same person that they come off as online. And I don't know, I just feel like be authentic. That's where I'm going. Be authentic. And I kind of forgot the question. Sorry, that was a tangent.
No, you're good.
Yes.
Authenticity is getting to be a harder and harder thing to find in the bass fishing world. Going to the classic and stuff, there's a lot of personas out there that don't match the guy behind the camera. So it is really refreshing to see that. And I think people really do appreciate that with you.
Even just following other people like myself, it's like what I always try to practice like the following. And so it's like, you create what you consume, or like what you don't want to do, then don't do that. Or what you don't want to see, don't do the same thing. So just, like I find a lot of like new creators to the space are doing so well, and it's great because they're just being unauthentically themselves, or unapologetically themselves. And I love watching those people. Like I want to shout out somebody who's super fun to watch, and like her name's Kiana Thompson, and she just like, it's like you're FaceTiming her with her content, and she's so real about it. Like she shot a turkey and she was bawling her eyes out, and I'm like, I've been there. Like that's so great. Like I love stuff like that. And so I just wish more people would also like realize it. Like you don't have to be absolutely perfect online. Like you can be a goofball. Like people want to laugh, people want to relate to like real things, just because like where we're at in the world. Like I don't know how you feel about some things, but like people are looking for a community more than ever right now. And so being real is like worth its weight in gold for so much.
Well, and another thing I noticed too, and what I really try to get across on here, 90% of the stuff half of us that talk about fishing are saying is opinion. And Live Scope absolutely proved that, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but so many things are educated guess and what worked that day. And I have a hard time stomaching the guys who, say things as gospel truth. I'll be the first one to admit, half the time I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. I don't necessarily know everything.
Right.
What would you how would you define tourism storytelling?
How would I define that? So I guess how would I answer this? So I mean, ultimately so I'm going to approach this in the way like how I go into a partnership, right? Like or with anything that I do, is I want it to be a win-win. So if I'm highlighting like an area, or if I'm visiting an area, I am like the first person. Like my in-laws have a cabin for us, I think in Manitowish Waters, which is where we've stayed before. We had a cabin there. But like it's been 5 years since we've had that cabin. So I'm like researching like what's new over there. And I want to see like cute places to go eat, or like, fishing spots, maybe not so much. People won't really say that. But like what lakes to fish, or like what lakes are hot, or like, is there live music somewhere? Like what's a hidden gem in this area? And so like when I try to do that as well, I want to build a resource for that to be referred back to, where like more people just continuously want to come visit the area. And like, I get to travel it, I get to promote it, all of that. And so, I mean, ultimately I want everyone to benefit from that. And so like the food industry, the fishing industry, the mom and pop shops, or like cute stores in town, and like live musicians, or the cool lodging to stay. Like I want all of those to benefit in some way when I approach like a partnership with a tourism agency, because like anybody, I feel like anybody would want that for their area, like chambers of commerce, they want their businesses to succeed. And like,
Yep.
yeah, and like that helps your community as a whole, and just life is good. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you kind of answered this next one for the most part, but when you're visiting a place, I mean, what do you feel are the most important things to capture?
Um, I love how like I create, like I consume, right? So I love to see like point of view, what I'm experiencing. Like visual walkthrough of places. Maybe some people are a little over anxious like myself, but I like to see the parking situations. I want to know if we can park a boat trailer someplace. So I don't know, like I always try to do POV, some really cool detail shots, or like I don't know, like I want to see everything that's cool. So like, or make you want to go there yourself. Like I want to see what you ordered for food. What was good about it, what was bad, or like what to avoid, or just all the ins and outs of things I want to know. Or like even the fishing experience, like I've seen people go to destinations and they haven't done well, but they'll allude to the fact that they've done well. And that's like, I don't know, I've gone to Escanaba twice. I love going to Escanaba so much. And I know there's huge fish there. I have been like skunked the last 2 times that we went. Like we did not do well this ice season. It was such a weird year, and everyone said that. But like the year or the time before, we were supposed to go on a salmon charter, and the captain canceled on us. And like I was open and transparent about all of these things, and it's like, you know what, I know there's fish there, but like I don't know really what to tell you. But I'll be honest about it, because I'm not just gonna be like, oh yeah, it was crazy good, so like you have to go. I don't know. And like at that point, when fishing's not great, my husband and I will pivot and go right back to the job we were hired to do, and that is tourism. And so sometimes it's just not all about the fishing, it's about enjoying where you're at, and everything else. And we found some great killer food places, and like a super fun random hole in the wall mini golf place. Like I don't know, I'm just very honest and transparent about like every experience that I have. So I want to be real about that for other people to like not have such high expectations for certain things when they go. But yeah, I hope that answers that question too.
Yes, it definitely does. What are some underrated things people overlook about fishing towns?
um Kind of with like the same of the other things that we talked about. I think a lot of people overlook just like, not like I think it's the people. Like you visiting some place is gonna mean more to these people than you probably underestimate. I don't know, like I've just seen it with a lot of business owners, and they're just so thankful. Like maybe one little conversation changed their whole day. And they're like, this was like, that person was so wonderful, and then they'll talk about that for weeks. But I mean, I really do think it's just the people. Like there's so many really cool people, and like so much history around here that like if you talk to the right person, like I know this man, and like my sister was friends with his daughter, but like I just met somebody named John Detloff like a couple of weeks back. He did a tour for us at the Fishing Hall of Fame. Most knowledgeable person who's ever known like any historical things about this town. Like he has a whole book that's like this thick about the history of Hayward and like Chippewa flowage, and he's just like a well of knowledge. But there's so many just like cool stories and like things that you can learn, and from people around here. And I think that's truly overlooked and like underestimated from everybody. I'm
Well,
such
and I'm oh
oh
no,
you're
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I'm just such a people person. Like I can talk to like anybody, but like I always love to just chit chat with somebody, or like everybody does. It seems like nobody has like too big of a wall up that they're not willing to let you in.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a really neat thing with towns like Hayward. I'm kind of a history nerd to an extent.
Sure.
I love hearing that stuff, seeing the old pictures from back in the day,
Yep.
and I think that's definitely a big part of the
Oh
charm
yeah.
of towns like Hayward.
It's fun
Um,
too. Like, not to go off on a side tangent, but like the muskie controversy with like Louis Spray or Cal Johnson's big muskies, like it's so funny to chit chat with certain people because some people have no idea, and then other people are like, "Oh, it was totally this guy." Like, and then the other bars have all of their displays, and you're like, "Well, that's not the world class muskie," but it's just like a funny debate that you can chit chat with people about. Yeah.
that's awesome. Um, I mean, there's a lot of obvious ways that resorts and restaurants, definitely feed into the fishing industry up there.
Mhm.
But I mean, there are definitely some kind of not thought about ways too. The promotion from bartenders and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I mean, do you see a lot of that on your travels? How big of a part do you think that really plays in the promotion?
Um, like, I'm sorry, what was the question one more time?
Um, I guess to really boil it down, what are some of the smaller, lesser known realized ways that the resorts, the restaurants, and just the touristy stuff in general supports the fisheries?
Um, well, perfect example of this. So there is a lodge or like a resort system here. There's a bunch of resorts that are all part of this Lake Chippewa Flowage Association. And I don't know if like one of your listeners know about like the muskie stocking kind of situation for like the northern zone up here. And so like they did change that regulation to open muskies way sooner than what it had been, but they also really severely limited, I think it was walleyes and muskies for the stocking this year. And so there's a resort called Treelands Resorts and them and Pat's Landing Resort. So they're both on the flowage, one's on the east, one's on the west, and they have this huge tournament it's the second weekend after fishing opener, and so it's called the Treelands Challenge, and they had a 50-50, like you could buy a raffle ticket and win a bunch of money. And I think if I remember correctly, like everything that was raised was like matched by other things involved with the association. I think they raised like $13,000 to help with stocking efforts for the Chippewa flowage itself. So, I mean, in one way or another, there's Pat's Landing also has like, or they had this thing where you could adopt a muskie. And so it was like a donation. I don't remember specifically what it entailed, but again, something with muskies in the population and stocking. But just like, there's some really cool fishing contests. There's like bass leagues and stuff, and they all contribute to one way or another, like restoration projects or Terry Peterson Fishing Foundation. There's one up here as well, and they do accessibility. So they've built like new fishing piers at Shoes Pond where you can fish right in town. And so, I mean, in one way or another, it's giving back to the community to keep fishing accessible and keep it a livelihood for everybody in years to come, which is really cool.
That is really neat, and it's kind of it says a lot on the state of the world right now that so much of this funding for these things needs to happen privately. It's kind of
Yeah,
sad,
I know.
especially when it's keeping towns like Hayward alive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you balance promoting destinations and still respecting the local culture and the pressure and the fisheries in general?
So I guess how I balance it, I'm never one to like spot blow up or, like blow up a lake location. And I mean, like, I'll say like the general area, and sometimes it will totally say the lake that I'm on. But like, I mean, that alone's not gonna be like, oh my God, we crushed fish, or, giving away the spots or the information on where those fish were caught. But I mean, I genuinely do think like I want to promote more of an experience than like success, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I want you to go and have like a great time. And fishing shouldn't make or break an experience like that. Like, yeah, I know like I've traveled as far to Winnipeg, and it wasn't like hot and heavy by any means. It was steady, it was great, but I still had like a wonderful time. We met some really great people when we went there. We met like it's Carlos Cucina. I still talk to these people, but it's a great burger place up in Winnipeg. It was excellent. So, I mean, like just those little tiny things made the experience so great. And it's like, oh, you know, I caught like 4 walleyes today and I maybe missed like 2 30-inchers that made me cry, but it didn't make or break my trip. But like, so anywhere that I go, and like here or not, like some days you just don't have great fishing and other days you do. But like, yeah, I think like it's really nice to not blow up things for, you know, the local population, obviously, because you don't want to be like disrespectful there. But yeah, like just selling a good experience, like something that someone can actually have fun with, and like the fishing's just a bonus, you know?
Well, and it's a lot of them bad experiences that make really good fishing memories and stories
Yes,
too. And I think people overlook that a lot.
I agree.
Um, as anglers, what responsibility do we have when traveling to these places?
You know, obviously respecting the locals. I'll respect everybody. You don't want to get in their business. I'll ask questions, and if there's an answer that they don't want to give me, that's fine. Like we'll go to bait shops and be like, hey, like, you know, what's happening, or where are they biting? They're like, what's going on? What's the sitch? What are they biting on? And like some places, and like mostly everybody have just been like so wonderful, and they'll give you, you know, some breadcrumbs and the baits that are working and stuff. And then like maybe chit chat with a couple locals at a boat launch. Some people are super tight-lipped, others aren't. It's great. But just like respect for the community, you know, sometimes I've had like a not super great experience at a restaurant, but I'm not going to like take that out on somebody. Just being nice, be nice. You're not in your home, like respect everybody. Just, I don't know. Yeah. Be good, be a good, courteous person, and like give everything a chance, and just, I don't know. And like, obviously don't break laws or like take over limits. It's just falling on being a good angler. It's just being a good person. Like you don't want to be the reason that somebody looks down on like any fisherman in general. Like give people their space on the lake. Don't come honing in on them if you see them catching fish.
I could write a book on that
Oh my
one.
gosh, yeah. I mean, it's just like plain and simple. Just be like a good person. Be a good steward to like the next generation of people. Just be a good person. Yeah.
Out of all your travels, what places kind of surprised you the most?
You know, I would say Porcupine Mountains, for sure would be one of them. And like I've been to like Lake Gogebic, which I just guess I didn't technically know was the Porcupine Mountains until I like worked with them, and I'm like, oh, like you actively promote Gogebic as a destination here, because it's still like, I mean, from the actual like Porkies, like, you know, at the Lake Superior area, it's still like a 40-minute or 30-minute drive south. And so
Okay.
like I fished Gogebic only in the winter. It's been so much fun, and like you get a really good guide like Justin Sofa, and you are having a blast. Like those jaw jackers are so fun. I would love to come out there in the summer, and I'm sure like it would be great. But we went to a kind of like a random lake up in that area last summer when we visited, and it was like the Victoria Dam flowage or something like that, or reservoir. And so it's man-made, and the dam is like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it's absolutely huge. I've never been to the Hoover Dam, but I would say it's probably close in like what I would consider to be a very large thing.
No kidding.
So cool. And the waterfall is really neat. But the whole flowage is so cool. Like it didn't feel like we were in Michigan. I don't know. It felt like we were out west somewhere, because it's so hilly and like beautiful terrain, really rocky, gorgeous trees, and like just a lot of really cool little explorative areas of that flowage. But yeah, and even like, and then you go to Lake Superior, and it's like clear as day water, and you can look at like, there was like splake flying around in there, and I think they were splake anyway. I don't know much about like Superior fishing, but yeah, like the day that we went, it was like just glass calm, and like you could almost sight fish these fish. They were just a little spooked by the boat, but like you could see smallies swimming around in there, and it was just so cool. It's so diverse, and yeah, and like not a lot of things super far away. And we were just kind of like, oh, there's really no lakes up here. But then you actually start looking at some maps, and then there's like the Ontonagon River and like tons of trout streams all over the place. So you can catch brook trout in it. It was just really cool. Like I didn't expect that much, like I was saying earlier in the show, like that much diversity in like that area. It was just really neat. So that was
Yeah,
probably one of
that's
my surprising trips.
that's all. I mean, that's honestly, talking to you is the first I've ever heard of it, and the way you explained it, I kind of really want to check
You
it
should
out now.
go. It's cool.
It
Oh, and
sounds
then you
neat.
can go. You can go Uperlight hunting when you go up there too. It's
Oh,
so.
yeah, the weird rocks, right?
Yes, I was like, I don't have my UV light, but I have my Uperlight right here on my desk.
That's
We
so
found
cool.
two of them, and like two times that we went in the summer, and it was so cool. We were freaking out.
So, what would you say is your favorite kind of hidden random experience you've had revolving around a fishing trip? It doesn't even have to be fishing related.
Hidden random. I for some reason I'm thinking of this and like and I don't do guide trips much more often than when I go on like a salmon charter, right? When I go with some friends every now and then out of Algoma. But I think my like surprised one that I went on was last summer. We went to it's like the Keweenaw Peninsula, so it's northern Michigan again, like the upper part of the peninsula of the UP. We went to a little city called Lac La Belle, and we went fishing with this really awesome guy. It was, I can't think of it. I will think of this and I will give this to you for show notes. He was
Okay.
amazing. Oh my gosh, I wish I knew what his boat name was, but he was so great. So we went on, he was like a smaller craft charter boat, and we go like Lac La Belle is cool because it's like a man-made canal where like the shipping came in there or something. And so the lake itself, there's like walleyes, largemouth, and like a whole lake of its own. And then it flows in or out of Lake Superior. And so there's this big canal you go through, and then you're right on Lake Superior. And we had like the coolest sightseeing opportunities for like this waterfall. I can't remember the name of the falls, but we went out and saw this really neat lighthouse and just pounded lake trout. Like we had like a time in the morning where it was like an hour, and he's like, there's nothing happening right now, so like let's go out to spot B. And it was like we got our limit, me and my husband, in I think it was 40 minutes of lake trout, and it was so much fun and just the most beautiful place ever. And then it's like we're in the middle of Lake Superior right now, and then go back and you're like in the mountains of the Houghton Peninsula. It was just so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say is some of the biggest misconceptions about content creation?
Um, okay, so I think if I have to say one thing is that like the word influencer gets kind of a bad rap sometimes, right? Like influencer and content creator can kind of go hand in hand. I mean, in content creation, you're still like promoting yourself. Influencing, you're obviously trying to like market something of sorts, but there's people who go about it like the really wrong way. And they're just like, oh, I get like a free thing or I get paid for this. And so this is the best. But it's like, I don't know, like the misconception there. It's like I try my best, and I've like admittedly in the beginning of this I wasn't perfect, and like, work with whoever wants to work with you, but it's like you got to refine that and be like, no, I'm going to work with companies that I stand behind and like are actually good companies. They treat their employees well, they treat their people who work for them like somebody like me well. Like it's a partnership. It's not like a user and abuser type situation. So I just think if people would practice more refining and just integrity of like if something's not great, like why are you saying that it is? Like it's just become like it's inauthentic and like a little bit materialistic in some ways, and like I find myself hating on it too. Like where I'm at, I mean, I feel like I'm a veteran in this now, but yeah, I just get sick of seeing so many people just be like, oh my gosh, like I'm with this, so this is the best thing, and like no questions asked, or like they won't hear or try anything else. And I don't know, just like be open to so many different things and be real. Like, I know if you're like getting affiliate kickbacks, like it's great, but be straightforward about things. Don't lie to your people. Don't make people hate influencers. Like, another one I guess I could say is people who charge ridiculous amounts of money for like nothing of substance that benefits that partner at all. Ruin it for the little ones like us. Like, I don't know. I've been burned on so many potential opportunities because someone came in, a couple years ago and they worked with an influencer and they didn't get any benefit from it. So it's like, why do I want to work with you? And it ruins it. And so it's just like greed, greed and inauthenticity is kind of just like, don't do it. Just be you, be honest, and like be real with whatever you're promoting and like who you are and just what you promise people for. And yeah, I get why people don't like influencers. I truly do. But it's like everyone just needs to do better. That's really all.
Well, and it's funny because there's a lot of parallels there, I would say, between the state of influencers and like the pro staff situation and sponsorship in bass fishing.
Yep.
It is so hard to get on a pro staff right now for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Nobody does anything of any substance anymore.
No. Like people aren't doing what they're promising. And like, I know I get it. Like I've had like some things going on with like I told you with like some of my family stuff, but I'm usually straightforward about that with like, hey, like I'm behind on something because of this. And like my partners like totally appreciate just the transparency. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, do you want us to postpone this project or just like move forward with a different direction with this project, or do you still want in? And it's like I have to do something like that for Father's Day here coming up, and so it's just really nice to like be honest and have that conversation with them, and so they know what's going on. It's not just me ghosting them. So like I just feel so bad.
Well,
like it used to be such like a not like an open market, but I feel like it was like I'm glad companies are getting picky now so they don't get taken advantage of, but like it does suck for like if you do really great stuff and like someone else ruined that for you. And it's like I totally see that in the bass fishing world too, and it sucks. There's so many good
unfortunately. Yep, and it's been going on in the bass fishing world since the freaking 80s, but it was a lot easier to hide it before social media.
Oh yeah. What was the one?
What are some of the trends you're kind of seeing right now with fishing and social media?
Trends I'm seeing, I guess that's pretty broad, but if I have to narrow it down, like what I'm seeing like work actually is just like, reels. Obviously everybody likes a grip and grin, and sure, it's fun if you got a really nice fish and like you're hanging out with your friends. And I do everything. Like I try to diversify my stuff, but I genuinely do think like the people who are really successful, at least from what I'm seeing in like this newer age of creators right now, it's just like the very uncut, like very raw, like, hey, come fishing with me and let's, here's what I'm using, and like, tying on knots and picking their lures and like going fishing and trying spots, and like maybe that one didn't work, so like let's go somewhere else. So it's like just like the whole POV, like come with me thing. It's very cool. Like I mean, it feels like you're FaceTiming a friend, right? Like you're going on an adventure with them. And I just think that really resonates well with people for like the trends. But I mean, as far as trends go, like there's always like a TikTok trend that eventually works its way into the fishing space, and those are fun and they'll go like viral, but it's not gonna like make a lasting impression, I guess. It's like I had something like that happen with me too. I took a video with my friends ice fishing a couple years ago and we had such a great time, and it was really fun and I got a lot of followers, but like none of those people are engaged with my stuff. Like, and so like it's just like you want to keep whoever it is. If you do trends, you better stay on trend. Like if you're doing like one trend, it goes viral, it's like you better have a backup plan. I'm engaged. But no, yeah, just the real content is really good. People are nosy too, and they want to see like what you're using or what's working, and like what's a life hack to fishing or something like that. Like things that are easy sells for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I notice that too a lot with the numbers and stuff, even with my show. Anything where people think they are going to get some tidbit of information definitely seems to do a lot better
Yes.
than just conversations.
Hmm.
And it's unfortunate because this is the kind of stuff I enjoy doing way
Oh,
more.
same. Yeah,
But
like the real like value, I guess. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And like I don't know why I didn't say that, but yes, valuable and resourceful information that's shareable or like savable is like critical in just like the social media standpoint as it is. Like you want those to boost you in your algorithm for more people to find you. So
yeah. Now, do you think social media in general is helping or hurting fishing as a whole?
I'm in the middle there. Um, and I see it on both sides 100%. I think it helps. Just maybe there's people like, here's my pros and cons, right? So I think it helps with like maybe inspiring somebody who normally doesn't to be like, hey, this is like one of the most accessible, which I like. I wish that more companies would promote, right? Fishing is so accessible. And so, getting your product in people's hands. Like, and I think a lot of companies are really excellent just with like the women's space too. Like, there's like that Bassmaster program and it teaches women how to
Yep.
fish. It gives them some products to get started. There's like excellent in my state here in Wisconsin. You're from Wisconsin.
Yep.
We have Women Wisconsin Fish, and there's like Wham Minnesota over next door. There's like the UP Anglers Women's Group. There's women's groups everywhere. Like there's a bunch of kids fishing programs, and so like the accessibility that like you're learning about and everything online, like you can learn how to tie knots, you can learn with baits, or like people give like online seminars for so much resourceful stuff. And I love that. And I think it's really great. And like that would be, I think the biggest pro is like connecting people and getting them access to the sport. And then in the cons of things, it's just, I don't know how much, well, it's swear words I can say on your
You
show,
are fine. Say
but a
whatever
pissing
you want.
match. Like it's just a pissing match because like there's, and as a girl, it sucks because there's always some guy out there who's a tool, and it's like, oh, I could have cut 18 of those little babies in my back pond. And it's like, didn't ask, but thanks. Or like, and there's just so many mean people are like, oh, blah blah. I don't know. Like there's stupid comments like that. Like someone's always got to have something to say. And then there's always like, these cocky people who are like, well, they only post the good stuff. They never post anything bad, or like, anything that they never skunked, or like that they always go on guide trips and they never promote the guide. And it's like, I don't know, like there's just so many like icky things. Or I don't know, that's the worst part. It's just like there is an ugly part to it, but there is also like, how I was talking about spot burning. There's a lot of like great bites, maybe like, no, not everyone wants to snag walleyes all the time, but like those fish are in a very vulnerable position when they're in that spring spawn. And like, sure, I've gone to the Menominee River once, but it's like, I'm not taking a picture with every fish that's snagged. And I'm like, oh, I crushed them. It's like, I took a picture with like the 2 fish that I actually caught, and I was stoked. One of them was tagged. Like, but I don't know, like people exploit those bites, and like they make people think like, oh, this is how it is all the time. Or, are they actually taking care of the fish, or like putting it back nicely, or like practicing any nice handling, or I don't know, just there's a lot of icky things, and like just gross people who exploit the industry for clout too, like the OnlyFans crowd, which has now apparently joined the fishing community, and like just gross.
Why is that a thing?
I don't
That
know,
is
and it's
terrible.
so disgusting. Like I don't know, like, and I never want to like trash on other women ever, but like that is something that does not belong in this industry. Like, why are we? I don't even want to describe the one that I blocked about 3 years ago, but it was so bad. And I'm like, why is this online? Oh, anyway.
Well, and in
Yeah.
all honesty, we kind of touched on it. That's one thing that really bothers me with our sport. Uh, Women do not get the recognition they deserve. Especially in Wisconsin, there are so many female freaking hammers that come from
Yes.
Wisconsin that are so overlooked. I
So
mean,
many
even
good
back in
ones.
the When my dad fished the Everstarts, I remember we went down for a tournament, and Karen Savick,
Hmm.
she's from the La Crosse area.
Okay.
I mean, one of the original women to qualify for anything meaningful in bass fishing, and nobody knows who she is.
No,
I mean, and
I
that's
feel
nothing.
bad that I don't know who that is, but like,
I mean,
that's
she
really
was
your point.
sponsored by Land O'Lakes. She had an amazing career,
Hmm.
and I think she's still fishing. Not maybe at that level
Sure.
anymore, but it absolutely disgusts me. I've got a daughter that's looking to get into it, and
Hmm.
it's so hard.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, there's people who exploit it for like the wrong reasons. And again, like, I'll fish in a swimsuit and stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with fishing in swimsuits, but there's some
Right.
people who just make that their whole entire personality. And it's just, we can do better. That's all I have to say. Like, any women can do better. I mean, men can do better as well. They don't have
Yeah,
to objectify
absolutely.
everybody, but like the whole industry. There was a girl that actually posted about this the other day, and like it was a good conversation starter. I wish she had more context to her post, but it's like, what's wrong with the fishing industry? And it was like, she just screen grabbed like companies with just men, and it's like, well, you don't want to hate on the men because they're also like paving the way for fishing to be like something that's very exciting and like profitable maybe for some who want to do the tournament route, and like more people are inspired to do stuff like that, or like kids maybe who want to get started with that. But it was like, we don't have to tear the opposite side down to like boost us up too, and like the right companies will see the right stuff and like the right people to work with, but it needs to be collaboration on literally both sides. So like men and women need to work together for it to be a nicer community for everybody. That's
Yeah.
plain and simple.
But I am happy to see, women are definitely starting
Oh,
to make their mark in the
oh, for
fishing
sure.
industry, and I love to
100%.
see that.
Yes, I would have to agree. Like, I mean, now versus how many years ago? Like 6 years ago, when I was just kind of getting my foot in the door with some of these things. Like, it's awesome to see that there's women fishing in. Like, I love following Christine Fisher. She's a kayak fisherwoman. Excellent person to
Yes.
follow. She's great. And my friend Nicole Stone is awesome. Like, she goes and travels and fishes, like the dream, right? That's what I love to
Yeah.
do. And just like my friend Jenny just got a boat sponsorship, like just very cool. And it's like, I don't know, like there's just so many cool things. Or like Maggie Joe is one of my other favorite ones to follow. She's one of the bass girls from like the Madison area. So much fun.
Okay.
She's funny, and she catches some hammers, and she fishes in like tournaments for bass, and it's awesome. So I like, it's just really cool to see, even like following these girls however long ago that I started following them, how like much they've evolved in the last like 6 years. So it's just really cool. But yeah, it's a good place right now. And like, I mean, some people might be a little discouraged, but just, I mean, you just got to keep worrying about staying in your own lane and making your changes to help you. And I mean, work with people, be nice, and just, yeah, like focus on what you want to do. And that's my biggest, I guess I would, if anybody wants to join this industry, just got to worry about yourself, and the rest will come. Like, everybody else will follow suit. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, alrighty. I have taken up a lot of your time, so we're gonna kind of close this out with the final
It's like,
cast
I
segment.
could
I
yap
got.
forever. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, I'm the same way. I just don't want to take up all your
No,
time. I
you're
could
good.
sit here all night and talk.
Right.
Um, my first question for you is one place every Midwest angler should experience at least once.
I'm gonna say Green Bay. It is so much fun. Green Bay. I mean, and no matter what time of year, maybe not like July because I've heard it's dead and I've never actually fished there then. But ice fishing on the bay, I mean, like there's people I've seen catching this hammered perch. You got to work for them a little bit, but there's huge muskies, great walleye fishery, like smallmouth bass. Like Green Bay is just so cool, and it's just a really neat area. So I'd say Green Bay.
Awesome. And then this one's a little more personal. When people remember your work years from now, what do you hope they remember?
I hope that they think and remember that I was a nice person, or at least as honest and nice as I could have been. Like, I never want anyone to feel like they don't like me when they think about me. Yeah. And like, I don't know, I just always want to be remembered as a kind, helpful person. Like, I guess I would say I'm pretty ride or die for really anybody that I meet. If you're nice to me, I'm gonna be nice to you, and like whatever you need, I'm there to help you with whatever that is. If it's just somebody to talk to, or if it's like actually something that you need help with. Yeah, I hope that people remember my kindness and my honesty.
Well, that is awesome and an amazing note to end the episode on. I really want to thank you, Sarah. Give us some plugs. Where can people follow you? Where can people find you?
I am my username across I think all of my platforms is S Kozlowski, and that has 3 I's at the end. So it's SKOZLOWSKIII. And my company's is Kozlowski Co. So that's Facebook and Instagram. Or my website, it's sarahkozlowski.co. And that is where you can find me.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. And I would really like all my listeners and followers to give Sarah a follow. She's doing some pretty amazing stuff and doing it the right way. Thank you for watching the Timberline Bass Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, comment, all that normal stuff. Thank you very much for your support.